Good morning, everybody. Once again, it's Tuesday, which means it's hiking day. It also means week 2 update on Operation Freedom 250. Doing something a little bit different today. I went up on Newfound Gap last night, this morning I guess, and I was hoping that I would be able to see that blood moon up there, but of course the clouds came in and I missed it. Well, since I was already halfway here, I decided it'd be a great day to come over to Cherokee, because I like this trail over here. As you can see, there's a river here, but also we have a historic homestead. Not to mention, there's wild elk over here. Maybe we'll get to see some. I think I found my favorite shot. Sure would like to have that set of bellows in that forge someday. We'll check out that barn here in a minute. Working our way around through this homestead here. And afterwards, down in that corner is our daily hiking trail. I'm gonna keep this open here for just a minute. Keep it rolling. Because this little shed up here, last time I was here, had pigs in it. So I'm wondering if they've taken them out for winter, or maybe they're still in here. I'm not seeing any. As we come up on this barn, y'all notice that the roof comes quite a bit further all the way around than the actual center of the building. There's actually a really interesting reason for that. You can see how much space they have extra all the way around. Squirrels everywhere up here. About to reach out and pet this one. Don't worry, I ain't gonna bother you now. I ain't gonna bother you. You're gonna be on YouTube, bud. But anyway, and then of course you see this wide open here in the middle. So something interesting about this style of barn is back before we got away from British rule. Oh. Psychos. Back before we got out of British rule, the British government, or the monarchy, would tax the American people by square footage that their building was on the ground. So, by doing a building this way, they only got taxed the footprint, not the overhang. So all this extra space all the way around was all non-taxable. Just the 2 sections. I don't remember if I said it or not, but this is called a cantilever style barn. It's pretty cool how they come up with that. Our ancestors, they did whatever they could to save on taxes. And I don't blame them one bit. Taxes suck. I want to get me an old wagon like this one someday. Old buckboard. Get me a team of mules, pull it around. And there's a sign here somewhere. It might be this one right up here. I don't know. But you can see these zigzag fences. They're pretty stout. But the thing is, let's see. Y'all can pause and read that if you want to. I'm not reading it. Thing is, all the livestock would pretty much run wherever they wanted to. So in this section here, this is probably where they'd have their garden. And that kept the hogs out and the cows and goats and whatever else they had. And the critters could just pretty much run this whole area wherever they wanted to. The pigs they kept over in that pen, but you know, they just gave them pretty much free reign. They could run the mountainsides and go get their own feed. But that's what the fences were for, is for keeping the critters out of the food. Here's an old corn crib. Let's see if I can. There's a, takes the kernels off the corn. So last time I was up here, a big cow elk had come up through, and one of these other buildings I was in, it's a little birdie. Here's another corn crib. Anyway, I was over here looking at this. I'm not even 100% sure if I remember what this was. I think it's what they put all their sorghum in to boil it down and refine it. Yeah, sorghum mill. Or sorghum furnace, rather. But either way, I was up here looking at this, and I wasn't paying no attention. I come over here to this barn. Now, mind you, I don't have any pictures to prove it, because I was borrowing my buddy's camera and had no idea how to work it. But I came up here and I went to reading this sign. I looked up, and standing right in this area right here was a full-grown cow elk. It's like, what in the world? And of course, I didn't get any pictures. And here's the old apple storage. They got the apple trees all fenced in. They're just fenced in to keep the elk out, of course, but if you want to go in there, you're welcome to. I'll make sure to leave the coordinates in the description in case y'all want to come do this. Guess they got new chickens. See if we can see them. That ain't gonna work. I like all this. Look at all the hand forged stuff. It's back when things were awesome. Using horseshoes for hinges. I mean, they didn't want that to come apart. Look at that. All right, let's go hit the trail. Oh, here's that sign I was thinking of for the garden. Some birdhouse gourds. It's pretty cool. I didn't look at the house yet. Well, I have, but y'all haven't. I guess I'll show you the house and whatever this building is. I think this is the smokehouse. Yep, smokehouse. Can't see into this one. Y'all can see that though. I know I'm not giving y'all a whole lot of time on those things to read, but that's what the pause button's for. See if the doors are open. Nope. Usually they're open, you can look in there, but maybe they don't keep it open in the wintertime. Sorry about how dirty that window is. Well, that ain't gonna do either one of us any good. I don't know why they have shut everything down, but they have. Oh well. Something I like about this river trail over here on the Cherokee side, they have these stories that y'all can read. It's pretty cool. There's another Cherokee story for you guys. And there it is in Cherokee. Isn't this just gorgeous though? Usually the elk are out in that field over there. But even just coming down here, I mean, that's how close we are to the river. It's just so peaceful. So here's something I never really thought of. as I walk through this trail here, and I know that there are elk everywhere in this area. I mean, you see signs of scrapes and rubs and footprints. I mean, they're everywhere. You just have to, if you ain't never been here, then you know what I'm talking about. But for example, that's an elk trail. Packed, you know? They're everywhere. So what I'm saying is, it's springtime. And you know what springtime means? Sheds. I mean, look at that trail. Look how it's packed right down. I've never looked for an elk shed. I'd like to find one. I mean, the projects I could do with that I couldn't even, buttons and knife handles and, all kinds of cool stuff. But here's the thing. Is it illegal to take an elk antler? I don't know. And the next question is, if I do find one, am I willing to take the chance to find out? Now that, I can answer that. And the answer is yes. If I find me an elk antler laying out here, I don't know how I'm gonna get it out, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna take it home with me. But I figure the likelihood of me finding one on this trail, with how busy it is probably about 0. Unless I just happen to be one of the first ones on this trail today, and old Brutus dropped one down last night. I've been down here before and see people tube right down through here. I know there's a tubing place not far from here. If that's something that tickles y'all's fancy, if you come down here and hike this trail and get all hot and bothered, need to cool yourself off, just run down into Cherokee and find that tubing place. They'll take care of you. So I don't have to look for any kind of special place to give you all the results for this week, because there are no results for this week. And I was expecting that. I've not been eating the cleanest at all. But that's why it's a challenge and not a guaranteed thing. And they say when you get on the carnivore, that first week, if you're strict, you lose a bunch of water weight right off the bat. So I imagine that most of that 10.5 pounds I lost last week was water weight. And which is all right, it was a good motivator. But the thing is, I'm like, man, I did good, I'm gonna go ahead and just eat whatever I want. And can't do that because then I don't get any results, and just, it doesn't discourage me because I'm just looking at this 84 days, see what I can do. But it definitely opened my eyes to, I can't cheat on this. I can't eat what I want. On Wednesday nights, went in, we had like some sort of pasta. I love pasta. But it took me right off it just took me right out of the game, It just spiraled out of control, eating whatever. I need to get back on track so that maybe next week I can give y'all some actual results instead of, just taking you for a hike. There's nothing wrong with that, We're going to find us some elk and just enjoy the river. But I did just walk up on another Cherokee story, so I'm going to flip this thing around and let y'all read on that. Coming up on another story. Nice. I love this artwork. Janine Hornbuckle. Nice. Alright, so I'm headed back now down the trail. I'm not going to go into the visitor center today. I don't even know what time they open. But it's still pretty early in the day. There's 2 more stops I want to make. One is just up the road. There's an old grist mill. We'll go look at that a little bit. And I'm hoping, there's one time I came down here and there's a gentleman in town now talking about, being on my diet. This is the struggle I have. This guy has a food truck with Native American fry bread. And last time I was here, I got like the sweet fry bread with strawberries and well, it was about 3 visits ago. The last couple times I've been here, I haven't been able to find them. But I went in town this morning when I came over. Because like I said, I left the house about 2:30 this morning to drive up the mountain. Because that blood moon was supposed to start about 3:45 this morning. Even though peak wasn't going to be until about 6 o'clock and end at 7. I wanted to watch it progress. Because why not, right? That's one thing I like about the self-employment stuff. If I want to go do something, if I just want to drive over the mountain to see if I can see an elk and hike a different trail and go see if I can't find me some fry bread, I'll do it anytime I want to. So I don't know what time he opens up. I'm hoping he's open by 10, so I don't have to wait around too long. But I'll take my time up there at the grist mill. I'll show y'all some of that. I don't know if all y'all even know what a grist mill is, but if you don't, I'll tell you everything I know about them, which probably ain't even a drop in the bucket compared to everything there is to know about them. Well, that's all right. I may not have a deep well of knowledge, but I'm the type of person that I'll share everything I got, just so stuff doesn't get lost and forgotten. So anyway, I'm gonna mosey on up out this trail. Maybe time to get back up to that field by the homestead. There'll be an elk or two. If not, maybe they'll be up at the grist mill. And folks, these are wild elk. I can't remember when they were released up here. I can look that up for next time I come over and give you an actual answer. Something keeps, in my mind. I'm thinking the 60s they started reintroducing them, but I wouldn't hold me to that. That's a conversation I had with my buddy Josh a couple years ago. Could have been the 90s, I don't even know. Ain't no telling. I know there's a bunch of them though, and there's some big old bulls. I like to come over a couple times a year just to see if I can't find me some. Anyway, let's head on back over to that grist mill. And then we're gonna go look for some fry bread. Even though fry bread is not carnivore. So y'all should be calling me out on that. But again, this 84 days is about building willpower and expounding everything I do. 84 days is as a whole, not as a week. So if I have one bad week and all the rest of it's good weeks, I'm sure I'll have some more bad ones, but as long as the majority of them are good weeks, I get out here and hit the trail, which I've not skipped. I've hiked every Tuesday and Thursday since this started. I've been going to the gym at least twice a week. I should be going 3 to 4. Last week I was doing a bunch of handyman work, so that really messed up my schedule. When I'm driving full time, my schedule's wide open. It's no big deal. I can do whatever. But it's the handyman work that I gotta go put 8 and 10, 12-hour days in, Which is okay because, 4 days of handyman work means I can take a day like this, just go up over the mountain and go hunt down some elk and fry bread. Sorry about that. There was people coming. Y'all know how I feel about people. They're weird. So anyway, let's get on up to the grist mill and go see if we can't get us some fry bread. And it's gonna be good. Well, I figured it'd be a good day to come over to Cherokee. I'm wanting to walk this trail over here at the visitor center, but I decided I should come up here to the grist mill first, which is right over there, which I can't get to yet because we got to give the elk their distance. But they're moseying on. I'm not gonna have to wait too long. I figured it'd be a good time to come over to Cherokee because I went up. This morning was the blood moon, and I figured I'd go up and watch it from Newfound Gap. Unfortunately, it was nothing but cloud cover, so I couldn't do it. But that's all right, because I was already halfway to Cherokee and figured it's a good time to come over here, and I'm glad I did because there's elk everywhere. And yes, I'm in my car, but they're just chilling out, munching on branches. There's more than just these ones too. I go up around this corner and see them. There's 4 of them here. That one's a little bit bigger. It's pretty cool. Then of course I come out here to the road to go over to my hiking trail. And here's a couple more just wandering up in. Not a care in the world. Well, now that the elk have moved on, at least I don't see them up here anymore. They're probably not very far up in there. I went over and did that hike that we just went on to let them have a chance to clear out. But this is where I'm gonna take y'all to for the Mingus meal. That kind of gives you an idea of the penstock and the turbine. And there is a bathroom here. Right now it's closed for the season, but that's all right because they have one up at the visitor center, which is where we just were, and it's less than a mile up the road. So anyway, let's mosey on down this trail. Go up here and check out the meal. Normally I wouldn't leave the camera running, just something like this, but with those elk being here not very long ago, it'd be pretty cool if there's one around this corner. Well, that don't look like. I imagine they come up down that trail some. Anyway, the meal's right here, so we'll just mosey on up to it. Pretty big building. I wish we could go in it, but we can't. So I will say I was up here one time, and in this job box they have like demonstration material. Of course it's locked. But yeah, they keep, I can't remember what she had, but there was a lady here that works for the Forest Service. We'll go up here to the end and work our way down. See if I can get it to not glare so bad. This kind of gives you an idea. All right. I'd like to build one of these someday. Maybe not quite this size, just a smaller version. Just because I enjoy this old technology. I'm not going to go all the way up there, but you can see through the woods, the stream over there. They started way up above at ground level and split off of the creek and worked their way down. They built this flue. Of course, it needs a lot of work. It'll be back up operational. Of course, it needs cleaned out too. You see all the debris up there. So typically, there'd be 2 shutoffs on these. Right here at this ladder would be one of them. And you can see on the other side, that little waterfall coming out is where all the excess water would go. But you could also shut it off way up at the stream. Just dam it up in case you had to work on it and you wanted all the water out. But that would come down the flue. And this part here is called the penstock, I believe. And that water comes down and it just builds all that pressure, all that weight. It comes down out of this tube here. And the turbine is in this, and that's your drive shaft. And that drive shaft will go all the way up to the 2nd floor. I wish we could go inside so I could show you some more, but I can't. And they don't really have any windows. I mean, I obviously can't reach that window. But they would, I mean, that's got your main floor, secondary, and your 3rd floor. You can almost see in the window those stairs. So it goes all the way from the top, from the whole grains, works its way down. I might be able to reach this window. Can't really see. It's hard to see in there, which is a bummer. I'd love to be able to take y'all in there. I want to go in there myself. I ain't never been. I love these old things like this. Had to lose the jacket. I was getting a little bit warm on that hike. So, even though I've never been in that one, I've been in some others. There's a lot smaller one I can take y'all into, right in Gatlinburg. That's all the way at the end of Roaring Creek Motor Trail, or Roaring Fork Motor Trail, rather. And it's a lot smaller. That's more for just a few families, where that's like a whole community. I wouldn't want to make one that big, but one of the smaller ones, if I ever take y'all up to the Roaring Fork Trail, I'll take y'all into that one. That's about what I'd like to make. I just think it'd be cool to be able to grind your own grain, even though I'm not supposed to be eating all that stuff. Anyway, let's go see if we can't find us that fry bread. Well, I guess 10 o'clock's too early to get fry bread. I went to 2 different food trucks and neither one of them's open. So I guess I'm gonna have to come back. A little bit bummed out. I was really wanting me some fry bread. It's not like I can't make it at home, but I mean, if you're gonna have you some Native American fry bread, why not have some Native American fry bread made by some Native Americans? You know, they know what's up. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll just have to figure it out, I guess. But anyway, I'm gonna head on back to the house. I'm glad y'all stuck it out and hung out with me this morning out on the trail and going up over the mountain. I'm happy we got to see some elk. Wish I'd have had some better results, but you know what? Hey, I'm not going to lose every week. If I lost every week, I'd be skinning bones in no time, and I really don't want that. You know, I'm just looking to get that freedom, and I'll get there. You know, stay consistent, especially, you know, going to do stuff like this. Hiking 2-3 days a week, hitting the gym at least 2 days a week. I need to be going more, but if I keep up with that, even if my diet's not perfect, I'm still going to be heading in the right direction. And my diet will get there. It's just going to take time when, you know, as much as I like drinking soda and coffee and everything else that coffee's not bad for you. You can have coffee and tea as long as you don't have the sugar and the creamer and all that nonsense in it. But what's the fun of drinking coffee? Unless you make the good coffee, unless you make if you make some good coffee in the percolator, all right. But there's a lot of people that don't make good coffee. It's not easy to drink black if it's bad coffee. So I usually just don't, because it ain't worth it. But anyway, I'm going to get off of here and head back up over the mountain. That's just a stick. I'm looking over, got the river out the window. There's something sticking up. I'm like, is that a Canadian goose? I mean, there's ducks and stuff out here, but it just didn't look right. It looked like it was, I don't know. Doesn't matter. It is a stick. That's all that matters. But anyway, I guess we'll catch up with y'all next week. Stay tuned for some better results. Y'all take care now, you hear?